Please play with me. Think of yourself, close your eyes, play with me. And think of yourself when you were 7 years old or 6, depend when you went in the first grade. Please close your eyes. Did you imagine your job to be what you do today? We are the heart surgeons, not generalists. And we went through a journey of becoming better and better in driving profitable growth. This presentation, this story I'm going to tell you with images is going to help you to reframe what you do and make you love what you do more. So why is needed? Because growth is not easy anymore. All the CEOs in all the publicly listed companies are putting in their releases, I'm going to do RGM, I'm going to do NRM. Everybody is doing TPM implementations. Why? Competition is everywhere in all the markets in the globe, and it's not easy. And people try to find solutions how to make more money. Me, I was fortunate to build businesses from 0, 7. I was fortunate to hire more than 3,000 people and work with very, very clever guys. What I've learned is everybody at the end of the year wants to get his bonus. So my job in Mars is to make the global team get bigger bonus than 100%. Let me repeat. My job is not to optimize, not to implement TPM, what I do, but is to make my company successful. Because if the company is successful, the people working for the company is successful. So I choose, like you choose to be here, to do this job, because once in my career as a country manager, Dave Lewis, my boss, came and said, Alex, you need to fire 10% of your workforce. I said, no, I'm growing 10%. Why are you asking me to do that? And he said, you don't know, but you will know. And he knew we will exit laundry market, which was half of my business, and I would not have the money to pay for that workforce. So I cried with every single person I fired. And that's why I chose to learn how to sell more profitable, so the companies do not need to make money and achieving their value creation through economies of simplification. In Mars, for the last 4 years, we got 200% bonus. It's successful. I call it SRM, not NRM, not RGM. I was the first one in Unilever calling it NRM because it was net. What net you're going to bring home? So I am proud that my company and my bosses and the regional presidents and the GMs, all you said in the fire chat, care. But it's how you reframe the problem. You know Mars, family-owned company. Mars was successful and it still is. Mars used to be a 2 billion company 50 years ago. Today is a 50 billion company. So if you say every year if a business grows $1 billion a year, it's successful. Unilever was 50 billion company 50 years ago, and today is 43 billion. Profitable, paid a lot of cash to all of the shareholders, but it didn't conquer the world they planned to. Let's double the world and halve the environmental footprint. These are my topics for the story. And it's a VUCA world. Out there, everything is moving so fast, it's uncertain. What do? I know that I need RGM, solve my problems. So every single word on itself is difficult to resolve. When you combine all 4 of them, it's multiplied by 4. So what do I want? I want this. And when people use the word growth, I use the words sell more. Stop using the word growth as it's going to solve my problem. Because you can grow and profitable. You can grow and not make money. So how do you move the market? Not optimize the market. How do you move the market? The consumer, the retailer, the categories you play in to create more value. This is the chart I want you to copy. And I call it the perfect storm. Why? When more than 3 things are happening concomitant in your market, the sales director and the salespeople are crying. Oh, it's difficult. The Tesco doesn't want my price increase. Oh, the commodity is 10%. I cannot take the price increase. And by the way, it's a tax change because Trump has changed up his mind. So when 3 things are happening in the same year, your P&L is under pressure. So I simplified it and I put it, and when I discuss with the GM or with the sales director, I said, which of those are in your market? And I'll start with what's your promotion efficiency and what. You need to frame the starting point in the market to speak their language, their needs. Don't call it RGM and NRM. Why is volatility? This is the price of cocoa. It was 3,000 for the last 300 years. Now it's 12,000. Wow. Manage the market, manage your P&L. Coffee, the highest price in the history of the world. How do you manage it? So the new reality of volatility is land the right price. It's right for the consumer, right for the shopper, right for the category. It's unusual on cost. Thank God there is Zoom, so you don't need to travel and save millions. And portfolio strategy choices make your job NRM, SRM, RGM. What do you want to play? So I told you I call it strategic revenue management. And I call it like that because I force a discussion with the GMs and with the regional presidents, which they don't want to have. And I ask them, what do you want to achieve? And he says, I want to achieve market share growth and profitability and penetration and the volume growth and then. And I said, you can't have it all. Your brands are not iPhone. You cannot put the price and the consumer buys more. Choose. So that's why I say it's called strategic, because I force a choice. Do you want to grow volume or do you want to grow price? Let's do volume. And when they do volume for 6 months, guess what they come? Actually, I want price. I said, no. We chose a strategy for a year. You cannot change your strategy from 1 month to another. So if there are 3 words I hate, is the overuse of the word strategy, which means nothing. I need a strategy to go to the toilet. I hate the word data because it's not followed up. Data of what? Data for consumer, for the channel hypermarket. If you talk to me like that, I love you. If you use the word data, for me means weather, my bank account. And people use this generic word, they don't know what it means. And artificial intelligence. Overused without people not understanding what it is. It is volatile. And the volatility is created by people, leaders, which they want to shake the markets to their own will. What are markets? I learned this thing, percentages are not the same. And I use 2 important concepts. Weighted averages, as a mathematical concept, is very powerful. Some markets are more important than others to make your total global numbers. And the second one is coverage. If you implement a TPM and you say 60% of my global revenue goes to the system, you have implemented a TPM. You just implemented a pilot in a country which you don't have money to scale up. No. People are using, again, overusing the word e-commerce, the new discovery, the new water. It is big, 10 trillion. But still the shop, it is 25 trillion in a global context. So yes, when it was zero, from 0 to 10 trillion, it's a lot. But the world of tomorrow and today is both in the same time. Not losing in one and gaining in the other one, net effect minus. A lot of acronyms, business to business, business to consumer, consumer to business, business to government. They all change money. So when I say, what am I in business to do? How do I collect the money? From the shopper to the retailer to me, or from the shopper direct to consumer. Ireland, very successful nation, is the only European country with a surplus. Why? They were smart enough, a few people, to make a taxation system to attract a digital economy, which is 300 billion. Look at the size of the Ireland in compare with France. Some people love complications, but if you master complication, you make money. So in the watch industry, you have this definition, what a good watch is, and a good watch sells for millions. And they take passion in that craftsmanship. Today, with digital, you can do the same complication on your Apple Watch. It's still $1,000, but it's not prestige. People still gonna look at your watch and say, here's a Patek. I love complexity. I've learned to deal with it, and I learned to accept it if it makes sense. People made complexity because they don't know better. I hate. And you can do the same thing in a structured way because you have a strategy. You have a choice. You don't allow for people to make mess in your organization. For many, many years, very clever people have dealt and write papers and books about complexity. Complexity of environment sustainability, complexity, how do you make education sustainable? So this topic I'm passionate about because you need to think the mess humankind created in order to compete. I use these images to describe growth, historical, for all fast-moving consumer goods. And I've been part of it. I'm old enough to live the communist transformation. And everybody from Western world went to open the business in Romania, in Russia, in China, and the growth was easy, easy. I talked to a GM, I don't need SRM in China. I said, no, because you can, whatever you produce, you can sell. Till the moment he could produce more than he could sell. And that was the moment he said, I need you. So this is what changed. The brick worlds grew as their economy helped and the population. And now, then the digital economy helped growth, the e-commerce. But now everything stalled. Sorry for. Pandemic happened. It went like it never been, but has been. It changed completely the supply chain, the pricing of raw materials, the dynamism of the way consumer. And I'm proud of this chart, is my creation. Why my creation? Because I define the forces, the vectors in the market. I hate it when people said consultants is developed market and developing market. I said, no. There are concentrated markets where your marketing has to be done by the 5 customers because they make 90% of your business. And I can still find in India such a sophisticated retailer. Even if it's only 2% of my business, I still need to cater for that sophistication with my people in India. So the way you go to market and the concentration of the forces of the retail make and change your RGM strategy. Is not the same solution everywhere. Population. Look at the size of Russia. Look at the size of Pakistan, Bangladesh. And for a UK-based person, those countries do not exist as a growth opportunity. They just talk, can I make another promotion for Tesco, 50% free. Population strata. This is China. Look how many kids they have for so many old people. So the portfolio choices need to accompany the population. US, very good pyramid. US is going to do well economic-wise for fast-moving consumer goods for the next 30, 40 years. It's a very, very good bottom. European Union, not so. Old people. Old people are conservative. They don't spend their money. They keep their money to pass it on for a bigger, whatever, vacation or house, or fear of not having enough money for the health. Look at Mexico pyramid. Look at Nigeria. So if I think as SRM, I don't think SRM for UK. I think SRM for UK was needed for UK, more promotion management, and I think Nigeria, more market development. They're both SRM for me. The tools you use are different. Cities is where the business happens. Top 100 cities in the world will have 3 billion people. The distribution, the route to market, the fragmentation, how those markets and consumer gets shipped, change with the help of Uber Eats and so on and so forth. So the city size is more important for growth than to say, I'm nationwide distributed. Conquer a city. Well, have a 90% market share in the city, and then move. The big cities you see is going to change. So by 2050, you have Mumbai growing, you have Delhi growing, you have Calcutta. So there will be those cities where growth is going to happen naturally. But how to capitalize at what price pyramid is going to make the difference. So how do you make it? It's complicated, but please remember these words. Coverage matter, weighted average approach, localization. And everybody is doing the levers. And when people talk to me and I say, I'm doing an RGM, NRM, and I'm doing promotion management, I say, you're not doing NRM, you're doing promotion management. Why? Because you choose that in that year, in that country, that lever is going to drive the maximum opportunity for you. Why I say you never finish with RGM. My CFO, who hired me, after 4 years of working with me, says, Alex, I got it. What do you got? He said, I got what SRM is. I said, what it is? It's like washing windows. You never finish. Always need to drive more. So explain price. Simplify it in such a way that it makes sense. Price is linked to a brand power. I love when you said, make a promotion, communicate that promotion. Don't think just because you drop the price, people will say, oh, I'm happy I remember that brand. You're one in a million brands. Price is multidimensional. You can change price by different things. The pack size with pack price architecture, the premium segments, the promotion, the list price, the trade terms, and all happened in the same time. So when people ask me in a market, how much price do I make? I say, how much from price pack, how much from premium, how much from list price, how much from promotion, and I call it net price. That's why Unilever call it net revenue management. But they lost their way. Price value, you've seen this one. In a retail environment, there are things legally the supplier can do and influence the value perception. And I always say, if you save money, put more money in advertising. Don't assume because you had advertising 3 years ago, you're going to run on fumes, I call it. So you have the car, have no gas, but you can still go 100 kilometers to get home. No, you get 20. Price pyramid makes all the sense. You've talked a lot about anchoring the price, and price is relative. So unless you have a price piano where all your brands are super premium, premium, and all you say, oh, I just play in the middle, we will get squeezed by the DOBs and by the premium, who the rich people will want the premium to be paid more. There are many tactics which have behind fundamental different way of communicating the price to the consumer. You've heard the story from Rory this morning. So there is an evolution of all company, which is a yo-yo. Company goes, and then they lose it. And then they go again, and then they lose it, especially when the inflation is very high. Analytics, in-house versus outsourced. Thank you very much that you exist, because at the end you need external partners to create simplicity from all that mess in a competitive environment. As is, to be. You know, I call this one, at the beginning, I call this one perfect price execution. And I give it a brand, and then you talked about adoption. And I change its name. You know how this tool is called now? The tool is called, you cannot do your job without this. And it has become ashamed if the marketeer doesn't know how to read his price versus competition. Everybody wants to sell promotion. One brand wants to sell more than the other. The retailer wants to make more money. So we spend a lot of efforts in giving away money in promotions without communicating them to the consumer. And I just took this one, the camel, which tracks the price change in Amazon. Amazon is such a brilliant software company who fools the consumer to buy more expensive than they could have bought 2 days ago. And it's very, price drops I hate. Price drops align with the marketing objectives I love. So when somebody does a promotion, I force them to say, what's your marketing objective with that promotion? Do you want more penetration? Do you want more volume? Do you want repeat purchase? And you need to choose the mechanic which drives that behavior in the shopper. So it is an art or a science. Do you need data or do you need gut feeling? And the humans, you've heard again and again and again, don't think normal. They always think in references. So if we focus the discussion on price, drop, me versus competition, the only thing the consumer cares is price. So the more you communicate on Tesco, on Sainsbury, on everybody, price, that's the only common denominator. What's the price drop here? Did you see it? You can see it. Because it's with orange, you think, oh my God, what a saving I made. And yes, some retailers are bigger and they've learned to master, to create their own brands, to compete with us, to teach us, to fight us, to use our brands to become price fighters. And the market has changed with profit pools changing from one retailer model, hypermarket, to a smaller store. Hypermarket used to make a lot of money selling everything which was electronics, and then Amazon took it all away. All the books, they took it all away. Even the clothes, not anymore. So the retailers in big shops, they make money with vegetables, with detergent. That's it. No more DVDs. No more computers. They used to make money on TVs, not anymore. So the profit pool they made has changed. The business model has changed for them. And they are asked, sell more profitable. They like the word growth. Growth of what? In which category? This is, again, a creation of mind, which is how a normal market treats a price list, which is over time I increase my price list, the consumer price is above my price list, and the retailer takes all that money. This is United States. This is Mexico. But in Europe, you had this inflection point over time where the price list relationship versus consumer perception have been broken, and the retailer doesn't make any more money, and the fight is downwards. So you have this discussion, how much money do the retailer makes, the more promotion or the more money you give to them? Not a lot, because they fight with Lidl, which has a different business model. Every retailer has a different strategy for your category. What you don't want is to be put in a, I'm a retailer and I protect my share against Lidl or whoever, and I'm gonna sacrifice your brand to prove to the consumer, come to me, I'm cheaper. Omnichannel, another word misunderstood and overused without thinking about it. It is a seamless, integrated, relevant shopper experience. Doesn't matter if it's through TV, through TikTok, in the shop floor. And it's from personalization or no to promotion the same for everybody. I love the promotions for over 30s. To hyper-personalization. So the people who choose the complexity to manage hyper-personalization as a marketing fight, be prepared. It's a choice. AI will take the word. The way I describe is this. What information do I need to give to my people, salesmen, GMs, marketing directors, CFOs, to sell more profitable? And we spend 80% of the productive time creating PowerPoints in a company to tell a story, which tells the story of the information in the hope you're going to sell more profitable. And we implement tools, and we don't teach people that the first car still has a wheel, but goes with 100 kilometers an hour. The other car has many more buttons to push, many more data to understand, and this goes with 400 kilometers an hour. So the more sophisticated tools you give, either you use AI to simplify that complexity, because they can't press so many buttons, teach them. And my pain, I teach them, 6 months later they're gone promoted, or somebody of you steal it. Data universe, I call it fundamentals, at least those ones being controlled. Then it's fit to compete. If Nestle has it, I need to compete. And then it's big data and social mastery. I prepared this chart for a huge screen. Don't worry. This is all the data I need in order to sell more profitable. And only the first 5 are SRM. But all the others are helping me to sell more profitable. By channel, I have a market called UK. I have total Tesco split in 4. Tesco direct to consumer, Tesco Booker, Tesco small store in the corner versus Tesco hypermarket. Different range. So I have these chapters of data where you say enterprise generated data for sales purpose, which is business to business, for trade marketing, which is business to consumer, for social, for marketing. And the more you are prepared to do all these analytics, you have the accelerators of growth. It's not promotion management, it's all of this. Skip, and I love this one. At the beginning, people say, big data. If you master data volume, data variety, data velocity, it's good. Then they say 4 dimensions, veracity. Then they say 5 V's. They said value. Then they said 10 V's out of data. And every minute, every company produces more data and more data with storage in cloud, which we humans cannot do in Excel, full stop. You cannot do it in PowerPoint, so that's why you need AI and data scientists to make sense of that mess. This is how many startups valued at more than 1 billion have solutions for healthcare, for retail, for manufacturing. And they have real IT solutions to take care of that complexity for you. Video. So every company will go through this maturity of understanding the company, not the 4 people in NRM or RGM, to understand and create insights. Talent. You teach people, they get promoted in GM. It's a complex world. This is how growth gets created. Stay strong where you are. Use the same channel but create new occasions and go in another channel. You need vision when it's volatility. You need understanding where is uncertainty. You need scenario to get some clarity. I always work, well, worst case scenario, best case scenario, middle. More towards best or more towards worse. Sales channels are blurring, and people call that omni-channel. No, that's price convergence between the sales channels. That's not omni-channel. That's how do you approach the consumer, and if the only convergence is price, you're not going to grow your revenue long term. So what all companies CEO wants? They say, I want my growth to be consistent, quarter after quarter after quarter. I want to be competitive. I want to win market share. I want to be profitable and responsible. I stop.
Thank you for stopping. That was amazing. Thank you very much, Alex. So we've got time for 2 questions. So are there 2 questions out there?
If not now, later.
If ever there was a description of a whirlwind tour, that was it, yeah? I can't believe the amount of stuff you just gave to us. And I guess you're going to share those slides with us afterwards?
It's with you.
Yeah, so it's absolutely super stuff. So if there's no questions, we'll jump on to the next one.
I have only 4 more.
4 more what? Presentations?
4 more, just where I come from, okay? And what, in a complex world, how a person reframe his job. And this is a Romanian who created art, sculpture. His name is Brâncuș, and he simplified the forms. So you had the Rubensian sculptures, which went on every single detail, and he went in the essence of the beauty, which was simple. And in the business, people say, what do you want? Make the choice. And the problem is, you have many choices, and people aren't clear. Thank you.